It's been a while since I've recorded a video, and what we're going to be talking about today, I'm sure you can see by the title, is my favorite Fast and the Furious characters. Now, I know it's confusing when you watch the Fast and the Furious because it's not actually, how can I say, it's not actually in the proper, the movies don't progress in like a linear form. It's not exactly from number 1 until number 9 or 10. It's not in that order. It's actually in its own order because, I mean, I can't say spoiler alert, it's been so long. I think the first one came out in like the 90s or something, so if you haven't watched the Fast and the Furious by now, you're gonna get spoilers, so prepare yourself. But number 3 is where Han dies at the end, and yet in 4, 5, and 6 he's alive. So I was very confused in the beginning because I watched a marathon New Year's Day 2023, New Year's Eve for 2023. I watched a marathon of Fast and the Furious, and let's just say it wasn't a good idea to binge all the movies at once, because then I made myself exhausted and fell so hard that I spent the year, like the first few days of the year, limping, which is it's not how you want to start the year. But he technically dies in number 3, but he's still alive in 4, 5, and 6. And then I think it's number 7 where they get the box and he's supposedly dead. And if you know, you know, the box, it's a bomb. And at the end of number 6, in the like after credit scene, is where Deckard Shaw is saying to Dom that he's gonna, you know, show up and wreak havoc, but that's where he supposedly kills Han. But if you watch number 3, it's not the same because you don't see Deckard Shaw there when he dies. So, well, dies, because he's not actually dead. I was so happy when we found out he was alive, which was odd because we could see him dying in the car, and Giselle's apparently alive. I want to see, this is why I'm so eager to watch the latest one that's going to come out. I want to know, how is this woman alive? How? Because she fell from the sky. She fell from a moving plane in the air. How do you survive that? So I want to know, how the heck does that work? But then again, we also thought Letty was dead, and we don't know how she was alive, so But then again, Dom should have died so many times and yet he was alive. So there's a lot of things of the Fast and the Furious that don't make sense. There's a bunch of things they survive that it doesn't make sense how they survive, but I get it. It's for the sake of writing and to make a good story. But I mean, when they were launching the car into space, that was not the best. That was not the best writing for me. I mean, we all want to think of the idea of getting the car into space. I mean, it sounds cool, but the possibility, maybe back then the possibility was more slim, but I mean, the thought now, I don't know. So if we're going by best to worst, my first favorite character is obviously Dominic Toretto. I actually didn't know much about the beginning of his story because I watched the first 3 movies roughly around the time where I was about 4 or 5, and all I could remember were the ones that were coming out recently. So that's why I did the movie marathon, because I was like, I don't remember much about these guys from the beginning, so let me watch it. Although I knew that Brian was like a cop and all that, but I couldn't remember what happened in the beginning, so I watched all of it, and that's where I started to connect the dots and was like, how is Han dead, but he's alive in the other movies? That's where I got confused. The second one I would say is Letty, obviously. Who doesn't love Letty? If you don't love Letty, you're a hater. Like, if you don't love her, then I don't understand, because she's a strong woman that is very strong. I mean, she survived death, so very strong. A strength that we do not know of supernatural proportions. But anyways, if they manage to get to a hospital in time, I don't even know. But for those that have watched, you know that she had amnesia and all that when she was brought back and stuff. But nonetheless, we still love her. Then the next one I would have to say is Brian. Obviously, we all love Brian. I think it's number 7, the end of 7, where Paul Walker passed. I think it was 7. I cry every time. I don't know why. I make myself watch it, and then I remember what happens, and then I cry like a baby, because they show that in sequence, looking back at all the scenes where Paul was in, and like their bond and the memories and all of that, and when Dom is speaking over it, it just makes me cry every time. The next one is obviously Mia. Mia is next level. She deserves more writing in the show. I feel like she doesn't get seen enough. She deserves more writing, because I do want to learn more about her character, but with the last of the last movie coming out, I don't think there'll be enough time, because so much occurred in the last one that I genuinely don't think there'll be enough time to delve into her character, because there's a lot of questions for the last one that needs to be answered, so I don't think there's time for any of that. I don't think there's time to find out more about the other characters, because this will be Fast 10 Part 2. Don't know when it's coming out. I think it's coming out next year. Then I would have to say my favorite is Giselle. She was just so cool, and I don't understand. She disappeared. She had long, light brown hair. Well, darkish brown, but brown hair. She returns. She has mid-length or short, like shoulder length, dark, almost blackish hair. No, just no. I was mad, because I thought, at least let her grow out her hair for the return sequence or something to make it more realistic, because it doesn't look. I love Gal Gadot. I don't have a problem with her. I think it's Gal Gadot or Gal Gadot, but I don't have a problem with her. Just as an audience member, it doesn't feel like Giselle. I don't know. I think Letty had highlights at one point, and then she had black hair again. I don't know. I do not ask me. I do not know. I don't have the answers to these questions, because I'm a little tough. Are my feet showing? No free feed pics. No, we don't do that over here. No free feed pics. The next one is obviously Han. I love Han. I cried when he died in 3. I cried when they said he was dead in 7. Like, yeah, I cried. Oh yeah, and then he was brought back and it was just like, oh, he's here. And by the way, he's got a daughter now. Even though, like, daughter. Like, not blood relation, but daughter. If you know what I'm saying. It was just weird and confusing. So it's going to be interesting to see how he and his daughter react with Giselle. Hell, we don't even know if the crew is alive. If you know, you know. Just in case you haven't watched the latest one. We don't even know if the crew's alive. So there's a bunch of unanswered questions. And we want the answers, but we have to wait. We have to be patient, and I don't like that. I don't like having to be patient. I don't like being told to wait like 2 years for a movie. I don't like that. But I get it, you know, the production takes a long time. And there's so many things that we don't even know about that goes into these movies. And when you're shooting on location, that's another thing. And everyone has a different schedule. And sometimes schedules change because shooting days get longer. So there's a bunch of stuff that we don't know about that factors into all these movies. So we might feel like, you know, we want to watch it now, but you can't exactly just jump time. I mean, if there were books about it, that's a different story. Different story. But I don't know. I don't think there are any Fast and Furious books that I know of. I don't think there are any books. And I think that's what's driving people a little bit insane, because the possibilities are endless, because they pretty much do their own thing. So that's why everyone is like, why did it become about guns? Why did it become about the military? Why did it become about this and that? But it's like, just let the show be, guys. There's still a story to it. Some of the parts don't make sense, but there's still a story to it. So anyways, I'm getting away from myself. The reason why I'm saying yes, there's guns and there's the military and all that is because my next person is Hobbs. Luke Hobbs. I absolutely love him. He really brought a fun sense to a strict character. I don't know how. Like Luke Hobbs, especially in Hobbs and Shaw. My next person was gonna be Shaw, but Deckard Shaw. In Hobbs and Shaw, I love it. You know what? I'm gonna go watch it now after I record this video. I love Hobbs and Shaw because of their banter, the way they are with each other, the way the story gets written. It's so much fun to watch. And just their on-screen chemistry is next level. It's unparalleled. It's so good. And it's interesting because they said that he might be in the final movie. Now, I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't know how they exactly gonna incorporate him into the story because he hasn't been there in a long time. So I'm gonna have to see how that one goes. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will be posting every Friday at 12. But bye.